What's up, everybody? Sorry I have not been around as much. I've got a bunch of videos that I've been wanting to make, but work has been kicking my ass, and I just haven't had the time. So, thought that I would give this a go. I think there's some videos about this out there right now, but this squad, P2 is a lot tougher, but Phase 1 has a hell of a lot less RNG, and it's actually a lot easier to make up for mistakes with this one. Of course, sometimes RNG can still come back to bite you in the ass, so obviously that will happen here. But this is another one. I'm also going to try the YOLO one just for grins, but anyways, I've had more than a few requests on this, so I figured I'd give it a go. That's 6. That is not what I wanted. 7. I didn't plan that out very well, but what are you going to do? And yes, I know that I didn't need to do that, but when all else fails, I like to put down the proverbial fresh coat of paint, just in case. Besides, he got me close enough. Six and 7. So that'd be 7, 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Come on. There we go. Six. Oh boy. And resist, naturally. And of course I get the double trigger, which is just fantastic. Everything I wanted. So now we attack the ads until Luke can come around and put ye olde buff immunity back on. Speed down. Two, 3, 4, 5. I miscount sometimes. That's obnoxious. Oh, that's nice of them. Slap a fresh coat of paint. I'm going to try and keep the commentary to a minimum. I've had several comments about my commentary. No pun intended. So I will be keeping my comments to a minimum. You're welcome, America. Oh yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Oh hell, let's go for it. That's a total waste. But was necessary. Come on, big money, no whammy. Sweet. What the hell is happening here? I figure I've already lost the count completely now, so to hell with it. There we go. Sometimes RNGesus shines brightly. That should be... Oh. Wow, I've really lost the count. It doesn't matter at this point. Wampa will finish it off regardless of what I do. So, right now I'm going to start saving all my abilities back up. That's one of the things that I found from kind of hearing people's comments in the past is, they're struggling with Phase 2. The mods I'm using now are very, very good mods. I'm not going to lie. But the same thing holds true for pretty much whatever you're doing with this. And this is actually ideal. If you can get Wampa to finish him off with a counter instead of using his basic regularly, he gets fed all that turn meter, so he starts out the beginning of Phase 2 pretty much with a full turn meter bar. He can use his Furious Foe in order to boost his stats, his damage, and then use the AoE smash on the second turn when BB-8 uses his Illuminated Destiny. So we're going to go ahead and get that going. Now he's going to do the smash right as BB-8 does this. We're going to go ahead and do this. Start working on everybody here. General rule of thumb is you want to use all this stuff up as much as you can. Use your abilities as often as possible. As I see other people run this, that's something I've actually noticed is they don't actually use the abilities that much. which ultimately you want to be using the abilities as much as you can, even if it means Luke has lower DPS, because you want to be getting BBA's meter up. Well, I was actually planning on saving that, but oh well. So you should be able to get off 2 Illuminated Destinies per topple pretty easily and consistently. That's been kind of my experience to this point. R and G will come into play somewhat, just because, you know, the more it calls Luke, of course, the more turn meter everybody gets. I'm actually going to save that so BB-8 gets to go twice in a row here. So 7% the first topple, that's not bad. I can live with that. Get that speed down, good. Get Wampa filled back up. Go. I didn't really need to do that. I actually wasted some damage, but oh well. Get that last bit of turn meter up. So yeah, he does do less damage without his unique buff up, but at the same time, he's calling Wackbar to assist, which helps to compensate for that. And I'll go over my mods here afterwards, but I just wanted to kind of show how the run goes. And you kind of start to do this accelerating damage that, you know, the first run it was all about just trying to get as much as you can, but then eventually it gets to where you're wanting to do at least 10% a pop. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? You won't be able to finish in time. So the last topple he was at 93, I believe. Should be able to get him out of here pretty well off on this run. So yeah, did a little over 10% that run. That was nice of him. It was even nicer of him. So from here on out, it's pretty straightforward. Once I get to phase 3, I actually just hit auto. That's the one nice thing about this squad relative to the other one, is you actually can just hit auto on it, and it does really, really well. On the other squad, sometimes you can get really unlucky and you actually can't hit auto. It'll completely destroy your run. So that is part of the reason why I've actually been using this squad a lot more, is just because getting the ability to literally just plug my phone into the charger, hit auto, and walk away is kind of nice. It takes a lot longer to get through because, of course, when you have Vader able to do the saber throw and put out all that damage, it eats through this stuff so much faster. especially phase 2 and 4. But for phase 1, it does make it a little more tricky just because, you don't have the ability to call Luke and get bailed out. And I actually made a mistake that last bit. I should have used Wampa's Furious Foe there, but whatever. Nobody's perfect. So I know there's also some videos again on the Young Han Solo squad as well. I will be putting a video out on him the next time because I just got mine finally to Gear 12. And hopefully this has helped. I know that I've gotten a lot of questions in the channel, and I try and reply back and answer them as I see them. That's part of the reason I wanted to go ahead and make another one of these, is just because I actually have been running this for a while, and it's not perfect, but I have liked the results so far just because, again, I can hit auto. And yes, I realize I should have done that the last time around, and I screwed this part up, but again, I'm not perfect. Oh, God, and that was obviously a huge mistake. I apologize for the noise you hear in the background. Nicotine gum is a beautiful and wonderful thing, especially when playing something as fun and not stressful at all like Star Wars games. So, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Use your specials as often as you can. Top of the tank, and that's pretty much it. I should have, Illuminated Destiny saved up. As you can see, Wampa is already hitting like a truck at this point. I mean, Luke exists to provide turn meter. BB-8 and Yoda basically the same. Wackbar is there to just spur Luke on, but this whole thing basically comes down to Luke and Wampa do a whole lot of damage together. And that's pretty much it. And I used Wampa's basic there instead of his smash because, like I said in the other video, you want to focus on keeping Wampa with as much turn meter as you possibly can. And when he does just his basic, it gives himself turn meter, so he's starting off ahead of the game a little bit. And for the record, before somebody comes at me and says, you should have done this or this, you shouldn't have used Furious Foe, I have not done any kind of calculations. It's just kind of a feel thing of when to use Wampa's Furious Foe and when not. Some of it will depend on whether Hermit Yoda has his AoE Swarm lined up, because that'll bring Wampa right back to full turn meter. But some of this is just, I've done this so many times, I just kind of have a feel for when I want to do it and when I don't. So I am going to shut off the recording here in just a second because, again, you can literally just hit auto on phases 3 and 4 and it'll go all the way through just like cake. It really is incredibly easy because there's so much turn meter removal going on. It is incredibly easy once you get to that point. But yeah, I mean, I might leave it on for the very, very beginning of phase 3 just to kind of show that you can just put it on auto and hit play. But yeah, for the most part, I'm not going to show phase 3 and 4 because there's absolutely no point whatsoever. And because I'm so far along from here on out, I'm also not going to be using his smash unless it's coming out of a topple. There's just no, or his Furious Foe, forgive me. Sorry, I'm doing too many things at once. This will get him back up to full. Yeah, don't want to risk it. So again, I'll go through my mods in a later video. I have fantastic mods on these guys, so I already know you guys would be bitching up one end and down the other, because even when I use what frankly was a really pathetic mod set, you guys bitched up one end and down the other. So yes, I'm using an incredible mod set. I know that I'm using an incredible mod set, but I'm also going to be beating him with an entire topple to spare. So in fact, from this point forward, I'm not even going to use any special abilities after this one, just to have them all saved up for the start of the next round. All right, no mas. Oh, well, maybe that'll do it. Oops. Like I said, I still had, again, I'm using really good mods. I think I have BB-8 at 312 speed. Now, part of that is I have both Gear 12 Plus pieces on him, and that does certainly help. Luke, I think, Luke actually is not that fast. He's at like 265. Same drill applies here as it does with the Vader squad. Speed. You don't need him for damage, you just need speed. Wampa, I have a critical damage set. I do have the maximum on the offense cross, where I have the 6 dot, just because it does actually help a little. You get a nice offensive boost with that one. So I have that on there. I also have the better speed arrow as well. But yeah, the mods here are good. But as you can see, even with lower tier mods, it's really not going to matter that much, guys. I did that last one with the topple to spare. So it's not going to make enough difference that it should cost it for you. Yeah, and the only part that does kind of stink about this whole setup is just that for whatever reason, the AI will, I mean, I guess I understand why, but it is kind of frustrating that it will not use the second ability that Wackbar has, his cleansing ability, unless someone is actually in trouble, which is kind of unfortunate, that one right there, because it calls Luke, and that is a good thing. But yeah, that is the only part about this that is even remotely obnoxious with the autoplay. Is I wish that he would use that more, because it would obviously trigger Illuminated Destiny a little faster, as well as removing more turn meter with Luke. But beyond that, from this point forward, it's pretty well set up. These two guys are going to attack me here in a minute. It's not really going to make that much of a difference. Then I'll hit autoplay, and then I'll stop this here after just a couple seconds. So with that, I'll leave it on auto for just a couple of minutes so you guys can see that, yes, it does work. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. In another video, I will go through and show the speeds that I'm using on this, just so you guys can see what that looks like. Oh, and I do find it, I don't know, I want to say ironic because it's not a proper use of the word, but he has no problem whatsoever using his smash ability, even though there's only one person there, and his basic does more damage, and yet Wackbar won't use his middle ability, knowing that it'll call Luke to assist. So do with that whatever the hell you will. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, there you have it. So again, he starts going down faster and faster as Wampa does more and more damage. Between Yoda and BB-8 calling Luke organically, and Wackbar doing the same when he uses his tactical awareness ability, or whatever the hell it's called, he doesn't get a lot of turns, to be frank. Again, this actually isn't the most efficient way to run this either, because Wampa just used his smash when really stupid of him to do so. But there you have it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy. I'll post this a little later tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up.